Overlays on video like this are pretty straightforward and fairly easy to do nowadays. Back in the day, of course, you always needed some program, and of course that was going to cost a lot of money to do. A little lower third or anything like that. Programs like OBS came into play, and we found that we could have an open source community, which gives us a lot more, from switching between cameras to graphics to everything like that. And throughout time, the graphics seem to have expanded as well to basically web services that you can bring in and put into your shows, like this guy right here, or just put a little bug down on the bottom here. Most of my stuff I do in post-processing, the little lower thirds and everything like that. But if you've got a live show, you need to have some of those graphics that you can put into play here. Well, we've got a new lower third graphics company that we're going to be taking a look at. It's called Uno, and they've got a great way for you to get your lower thirds wherever you are, whatever computer you're on, whatever hardware device you're on. Yes, even a hardware device like this, you can still have that little bug show up if you wanted to, or whatever. And that's what we're going to talk about next on Geekazine. What's up, my geeks? Jeffrey Powers from Geekazine. Think Magazine, put in a geek. I do have to mention that Uno is sponsoring this video, but they don't have any say in what I say or what I do in this video. All opinions are of Geekazine. We have a full page that talks about that over at geekazine.com/review. You can go over there and check it out. If you've got a product that you want me to take a look at, all you have to do is contact me. This is called Uno. It is overlays built for pros, they call it. And it is an amazing little device, because the one thing that all these overlays really had in common was you had to have software running in a specific spot on your computer. This changes the game, because everything that you put together is in the cloud, is on this site right here, which you'll be able to access in wherever you are, to pull up a lower third, to pull up a graphic or anything like that. And the best part is they have two plans, and the first plan is absolutely free. I said free. Yes. And if you think about, it's free and then super expensive. No, it is not. It's free. And then the secondary price, you'll be surprised. We'll talk about that in a second. But what I've done is I've created a few overlays. We're going to show you all. In fact, I'll show you all my overlays right now. I'm just going to go blah, 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 like that. Look at all those overlays. I look like something that came from a MySpace page. But you get the idea. You can bring it all in, and of course you can use your Stream Deck to also create buttons that will allow you to start and stop these pages. It's a lot of work, but it's well worth it in the end to have something for live streams or anything like that. So let's dive into this software right now and see what we've got. So, Uno, overlays built for pros. Simple as that. You could do it for your podcast, for a news show, for a live stream, for a Twitch, for whatever. You could choose from all of these. Are only a small amount of graphics that you can pull, and there's a lot more. And of course you can customize these in many different ways. Let's take this first bug, for example, the little bug that I have on the corner here that basically says my email address, or you can find me on Facebook, where you can find me on YouTube, where you can find me on X. You get the idea. Simple bug like that for any type of live stream is perfect, because it's always promoting you and what you do. So creating something like that, you could do it through software easily, but you do it through here. And then, like I said, it doesn't matter where you are. As long as you can set up a web page as a layer, you'll be able to use this software. And we can also use it, yes, on this Director one from Magewell, and I'll show you that in a little bit as well. So let's go ahead and first of all, let's go into the page here. So this was the front page, and you basically sign up for an account, and they do have a pricing plan of free and $1.99 a month, which is $24 a year. You can't go wrong on that. If you're doing anything professional, then this might be something to definitely take a look at, because it's got a lot of things that's already set up for you. All you have to do is change colors, change text, and you can do that on the fly as well. When you open it up, you come to this page, and then of course you sign in, and then that takes you to this page right here. What this page is basically showing you all your overlays. Actually, we'll go to library here. There we go. These are all the overlays that are available, and if we could scroll and scroll and scroll, and as you can see, there's a ton of stuff. If you want lower thirds, if you want to show off your socials, an emoji bug, if you want to do something like this, if somebody likes your page, hey, that's great, you liked my page, thank you very much, you can do all of that. We've got countdowns, we've got split screens, so you can set up a virtual split screen. If you've got two-person show doing interviews online or whatnot, then you can actually set this up. There's a lot of other different great features on there, and like I said, we're going to show you some of them and that I've already set up, and maybe we'll set up one as we go along, like a countdown clock, because I did not do that as well. So we're going to start by simply going to my all folder. So once you go in the library, and of course, depending on the price plan, you'll see some of these, and some of them will be premium. So if you want, let's say we want a countdown. Let's use this countdown right here. We'll click on that, and it gives us a description of what the countdown does. We can add it to my overlays, and boom, it's in my overlays. Keep in mind, there's also stuff I did see, like a film strip look. So you could have an overlay. It kind of looks like you got a little film grain going on or something like that, and you can bring that in. Lots of different graphics and effects that you could layer on top of your video, so you can start using it and make your video look really cool. So, all right, we put in that lower third. So now we're going to go to my library. My library is going to show me all my overlays that I've put in here, like that countdown right there. We've got the social loop, and that's this thing right here that I've been showing you on the corner here, that little bug, and a lot more. Keep in mind, you could have like 4 or 5 different countdown timers, so you could, whatever you need to do, you could bring that in. But what we did, first of all, we're going to start with the social bug. So what happens is when you go to the social bug, basically click on it and it'll call up a brand new page, which then shows you the interface. So here's the interface right here. We got 2 different sections here. First of all, we got a social loop, the full screen that we can put in all our information, and then we have the customization. We also got a settings area where we can kind of do this, and now we're seeing all those boxes. We don't have to flip back and forth. We can resize this right here, or we can just turn off the preview window and just have the automation. So if you're somebody that's all you're doing is focusing on getting the graphics ready for the next scene, putting in the person's name and Twitter handle, X handle, whatever, then you can focus on that by having this page all set up here. But if you want to just see what's going on, you can hit the preview as well. And right now it tells us that the preview is showing us that the bug is not active until I hit the button, and I'll show you how to do this in a minute. And of course you'll see that now it's gone again, because it also shows up in the bottom corner right now. In fact, I'm just going to turn that off here on vMix. I'll show you how to set it up in vMix. We put in our socials. I don't have a Discord, the public Discord, so I didn't put that in. You leave it blank, it doesn't show up, which is great. I don't have a Kick account. I have LinkedIn. I have Pinterest. I don't have a Rumble account, or I do have a Snapchat account, but I don't use it. TikTok, you get the idea. So, and you can even put in a custom one. Like we could go, let's see, custom. We'll just go geekazine.com, and then we'll say custom message, geek out here, and then we can put in an image. Now the images you'll be uploading, so basically you get like a little cloud drive in here to upload your images, to upload your text. Now the free version might be more limited than the pro version. I am on the full version right now. For images, of course size matters, so you want to make the size pretty decent, so because it does have to download it and it does have to set it up. And let's see, let's go here. So over here, this is all the images that I've uploaded, including me, and then including some of my art that I've done right here. So we'll come back in here, and of course we'll just do the custom image of me. So we'll hit that, and we'll go to all images. There we go. And then I'll just put my face in there. I might put my Geekazine logo in there later on, but for now we'll just leave it as that. And then of course we can change the color of the border box. I've always been into green colors, so we'll go like that, and a little darker. There we go. Boom. Now when I turn this back on, you will see the bug. I'll turn this back on here. And of course it will flip over, and you might notice that there will be a little bit of the delay as things go, but it's actually keeping up pretty well. So there's the Instagram and the LinkedIn. You can turn off that little bounding border box, or turn off the action text, and on and off. So if I turn that on, then all of a sudden it's going to say follow me, and then I turn that off, and then you don't see follow me anymore, or whatever text you put in there. You can change the position. You can see me changing that right now, and you can do that on the fly, as you can see. And of course you can change all the colors to make it look more like yours. But the whole idea, there's the Geekazine.com. You'll have that, and you can do that all on the fly. So you can have a graphics person come in and take care of that. And the best part is they don't even need to be in your studio. They don't even need to be in your city. They don't need to be in your state. They just need to have access to this. Now we've got all the graphics going here. We're good to go. We can set that to go on or off, and once we're done, we just basically close that out. To bring it over to any type of service, I'm running vMix right now, so I'm going to bring my vMix over. But before we do, we've got this part right here that's up on the top corner. We have the copy output link, and you'll see when we do that, you'll also see a QR code, and that is so you can use this on your mobile device if you need to and call that up. So, and some people might use it for any type of video software that can do overlays like Streamlabs or something like that. So you can bring that in via QR code, but you can also copy. That's the output URL. So if I copy this, there's going to be a URL there, and that's what you're going to need to bring it into software. Before we get out of here, let's just show you the different things you can configure your overlay output, and that basically shows you if you want to go landscape or if you want to go vertical. Some of these overlays will work as a vertical or a one-on-one square box if you're doing that type of video. And of course you can say, hey, I want a transparent background color, or maybe my software says I can only do green screens, chroma key, so I want that background to be green. I do transparent because a lot of these software and hardware switchers actually don't need to have a green screen. We have this right here, which is the control URL, which is basically this page right here. So I could copy this page and then send it to somebody else if I need to, or they can scan it on their phone through the QR code you're seeing right there, and then call it up on their phone to control it. And then we have what's called the Uno token. That's for Stream Deck. We'll talk about that a little bit later. If you have any questions, there's the help area. And this little arrow right there is going to toggle the preview window, just like this does down here. What we need right now to get it into vMix, to get it into Wirecast, to give it an OBS or anything like that, is we need that output URL. So I'm going to hit that button, and it says it copied it to the clipboard. Perfect. I'm going to scroll down to where I have all of these, and unfortunately I can't pull that up. But anyway, so what we have here is we have our different overlays. This one is the bug right here. So if I do this, you'll see the little bug in the corner. Of course, I've got the bug on here, so let's turn that off. There's the bug right there. If we go to the next one, I have my next one set up, which is this, basically this ticker thing that I call it. And we keep going down the line. We have this one, we have this one, we have this one. So I've created several different inputs for each of them, but what I've done is I went into the first one with the little bug, and I went into settings, and then I went over to layers, and then I've put each of those inputs in. So I have an all-in-one, which is right here, and that's what I highlight. So I can then not have to worry about putting out individual scenes or individual inputs. You could definitely set it up on your Stream Deck so you'd have to click on the button to get the lower thirds, or click on the button to get tickers or anything like that. But for the most part, I like it this way. It makes it easier for me to create content like this. So we're going to turn off that bug so you can see it. So basically, that's an all-in-one enclosure for all the graphics that I'm throwing through Uno. And that includes 6 different inputs that I've set up there. If you're doing it in Wirecast, let's go ahead and go over there. You can go into Wirecast. I have my main layer, which is me right there, the main camera. And then I have the bug right here, which once again, I've created 5 different web pages, and each of those web pages go to a different graphic. So I can do all of 5. So if I want to throw the like down, boom, we're liking everything. We're loving it. And which is great. And of course, also, if you're using OBS, if you're using anything that does any type of web display over it and can do it transparently, then you can set it up. Here is OBS. We have it set up. I set up a scene, and as you can see, I set up several different, and basically you just go in here and you go, I want to go to browser, and then add a new browser. I give it a name, and then of course you give it the URL, you set the resolution on it, and you frame it up the way you want it to, and there it is right there. So I've got all my bugs that I can bring in and out on command through the Stream Deck buttons. So it works there. And even with hardware, this is what I love about this. This is the Director One from Magewell, and it's got its own graphics in there as well. But it does have that feature to bring it on. You can't bring it in as scenes. You actually have to bring it as graphics, because graphics do have a transparent background. But with this, I suppose if you were using chroma key, you could probably bring it in as chroma key and then chroma key it out. But for this part, we're just going to go to the graphics, and then if I wanted to bring in the bug, they're going to be individual on their own. Whoops. We'll go ticker because the bug doesn't seem to be working right. I might have a checkbox that I need to set up. But as you can see, there we go. Let's take this out of the way. There we go. As you can see, we've got my full ticker that's coming through hardware. And this guy right here is running wireless right now. And that's what I really like about the Director One, is I can do a lot of cool stuff remotely if I wanted to. And we have our ticker, which is just basically you need an internet connection to the web. So this can call up this page, and then it can bring it in to your video however you're using it. And then of course you can take it out just like that. All right, there's many different ways to do this, and that's what's really cool about this. The other cool thing about this is, like I said, I don't need to be at the location. I just need to have like a live stream or something like that, seeing the video, close to real time. So you get into like a Zoom call or anything like that gets a low latency video replay, and then you just basically can bring in graphics from there. So if your CEO shows up, you just make sure that the CEO's name's spelled right, and then you hit the button, and that overlay can come in. You can have that sitting just doing nothing until it's time for that overlay, and then you can bring that in and bring that out as you go. You don't need to switch from their switcher, because as you saw, I can do it from here, and it goes to the web page, and then that web page comes back and then creates the little bug onto your video. Let's talk about Stream Deck. This is really cool because you can add a lot of buttons to the Stream Deck. It's a little bit of a learning curve to do this. It's basically one of my pages on my Stream Deck, and I have, as you can see, the Uno images. We have turning on the bug and turning off the bug. This one right here will turn it on. This one will turn it off. Now, to bring in something like that, we just basically install the Uno overlays, which you can find in the Stream Deck store, and then come down to the corner here, and as you can see, we got the Uno overlay. We can just bring it in like that, and boom, we've got the overlay, and then down here, we've got our information that we can put in. It's going to ask for an UNO token. The UNO token is going to be found right here, this little key. Once you hit that key, it's going to copy that token. That token will then be put into Stream Deck right here. And when it does that, then you will get more drop-down menus. And it's going to really depend on what graphic that you have set up, because there might be features like, well, there'll be simple features like show and hide, which is what I have set up on these buttons, but it could be other things like flip to the next thing or pause, or it's all dependent on how that graphic is set up. And then there's also going to be options in some of these graphics for JSON files, so you can make more tweaks like colors and position, everything like that. If you don't know what a JSON file is, that's fine. You don't need to touch that, but it's definitely there if you want it. So we go ahead, we create the buttons, and then as you can see, I created two different buttons here. The first button will actually turn on the graphic, and the second button will turn off the graphic. And you can also set this up to multi-graphics. This one right here, I have set up for two different graphics to turn on and off. And let me show you that right now. And speaking of which, hey, if you want to go over and check out the merch store, that's over at amazon.com/shop/Geekazine. You scroll down to where it says merch, and there you are. You can get some of the cool t-shirts that I've made, like the Geek AI t-shirt, How I Feel Today t-shirt, Before You Geek Out Coffee t-shirt, and a lot more. We also have a Patreon over at patreon.com/Geekazine. And I'd like to thank all of my Patreons for supporting the channel. You can support as little as $1 a month, and I'd appreciate that. And of course, one-time tip over at Venmo.com, where you can go over Venmo.com/Geekazine and send me that one-time tip. Thank you very much for your support in helping keep the lights on. And from here, I just turn that off, and all that graphic goes away. How cool is that? And those were two separate graphics. I will show you those. We have this graphic right here, which was an image gallery that showed all of my artwork for the t-shirts. And then, of course, we have the ticker, which is down here, which shows you my socials and everything like that. This one was a little bit interesting because I needed to have more than one custom entry, and there's only option for one. So I just used the Cash App one for a second custom. I wouldn't be surprised if down the line there'd be a new graphic that sets it up. You can build out your own. I'm still looking into that, but being able to adjust it to customize it for you, adding your own types of fields, so you could take out Cash App if you don't use Cash App and bring in your own fields for whatever you need, and maybe even just completely hardwire it so it's all your information. You're not going to share this with anybody. And they do have a Discord channel. I'm going to show you that Discord channel right now where you can ask questions. I put in a suggestion myself, so you just basically go over to the Discord channel and be a participant on that. We have these two graphics that are going. They're running separate, but of course I put them together, so you end up seeing that as one graphic as opposed to two. So different ways to do that. And how I did that was I basically, instead of just setting up the Uno channel, I set up the multi-action channel right there. So I brought that over, brought in the multi-action channel, double click on it. It gives you a field to basically fill out. And then I put in the two graphics there. And then for each of them, I say, hey, show and hide. So the top one is to show them and the bottom one is to hide them. Simple as that. And with this, I can create a lot of different graphics coming back and forth in here. I could create multi-actions, I could create toggles, so I could have the show and hide on a toggle, so it's only using one button instead of two. But I've got the 32 button Stream Deck here. We also can do virtual buttons now with Stream Deck, so you could create a whole bunch of different buttons. You just have to go over and press touch screen. You can press it that way, or with a mouse or anything like that. Be able to bring those graphics in or out at however you need. So, do you like that? I hope you like that. I like that a lot, because the one thing that I really like about it, as that I said before, is it doesn't live on a specific computer in your home, in your business. It's living on the cloud, and that information can be used at any time as long as you have internet access. You don't need to log on unless you need to change something. But if you have those URLs, you can then go ahead and bring them wherever you are. So this, you don't need to have a separate computer running the graphics. As long as you have an internet connection, you can bring those graphics in. And that's pretty cool, because now I can create graphics for different companies. I can create graphics for events and not have to be at the event. Just have to watch it in a more real-time situation. YouTube's usually about a 20 to 30 second delay at times, but if I'm like on a Zoom session or something like that and watching from there, from a control room or anything like that, then I'll be able to run the graphics with only like a 250 millisecond latency. And if that's not a problem to see the shows, then why not stay at home and get more done? I love how the cloud really works here. We have several different graphics here that I have set up, and I have them to run at any time, because once again, I'll show you what they are. We got the little bug right here, which basically shows me my socials. And then right here we have ticker and a drop down of the topics that we could be talking about. And if we go over to the topic one, just go there really quick. There we go. And I want to switch from topic to topic. I can go in and I can say the topic. I can change the topic reveal like that. And I just did that. We'll go back over here. I just did that and turn this on and off. Or if I want to go from topic to topic, I just go ahead and choose the topic in question. Notice how it's getting highlighted, and then the other ones are graying out because we already talked about it. So we're pretty much on close to here, pros and cons. So, what are the pros and cons? That's a good question. One of the cons, of course, you'll need internet access to do all of this. If you don't have internet access, then you can't get to this service, and therefore the graphics won't work. If there's any problems, of course, then that could cause issue if you have any internet issues. But for the most part, this will live. And maybe down the road, there'll be a cache on local machine type option. So when you have all your graphics loaded up, you just have to cache those. And then when your production is ready, you've got everything here. But the pros are amazing. I can do it on this machine. I can do it on another. Think about it. You could set up two computers. You have your primary computer, which you're switching back and forth. You have your secondary computer. And I do this all the time. My primary computer will record the video. My secondary computer will stream it out somewhere, so my computer doesn't get taxed. With this being on the cloud, it's not taxing your system. So therefore, you have a little bit more relief from the computer to bring this in and have some really professional looking graphics. I can put it on software. I can put it on hardware. Anything that accepts a web page and has the transparency option that you can put to it, you'll be able to bring in these graphics and use them. And there's a lot of programs nowadays that will allow you to do that. The learning curve, I would say, is about a level 1 to 2. So if you don't know anything about graphics, that's okay. You can learn on this and probably do it within an hour. So I called up this software this morning. I did some tests, and we're talking about it now because I feel very comfortable showing you everything that we have here in this program, which is awesome. And I'm really excited about this because of the fact, once again, I can have this ready to go for any type of show and be able to bring in graphics on a whim through a Stream Deck, through Stream Deck buttons, the virtual buttons, or anything like that. They don't have a BitFocus companion module yet, but that's could be right down the line for continued advancement in this software. But right now, this software, for what it is, it's been around for a little while now. For what it is, it does a great job. And I see a couple little quirks now and then, like this graphic right here. I don't want to have the little bug that's right here on here, so I turn it off, but when I hit the show button on Stream Deck, it shows it anyway, and then there's supposed to be a little lower third here. But I can also find a graphic that doesn't have this or this into the mix, and just this, or maybe just this, and bring it in. The other cool thing is if you've got a Google Sheet, if you need to bring in a lot of data, especially if you're doing any type of sports events where you need not only the scores and the times and everything like that, but also a set of stats for each player, you can have that all set up on a spreadsheet. And then when you're good to go, you just run that spreadsheet and bring it in. And then, of course, use the interface to switch between whatever you need to switch to. But the question is, what are you going to use this for? What are you going to like about the Uno here? You can check it out over at overlays.uno, and of course, like I said, there's a free version and then a paid version, which is only $1.99 a month. So you can set up for a year and then have these on your system, so when you're ready to go to do your live shows, whether you're doing it on YouTube or Facebook, or you're doing some shopping selling, maybe on Amazon or something like that, you can have these overlays at the ready for you to bring into the show, which is really awesome. What would you use it for? Let me know in the comments below over at geekazine.com or youtube.com/geekazine, where you can like, subscribe, comment, bell notification so you know when the next video comes out. I'd like to thank everybody for watching. I'd like to thank my Patreons. And of course, if you want to support the channel, once again, you have all those great ways to do that, including the merch over at amazon.com/shop/geekazine, where you can get other things too. Just search my page and you can see. But of course, you'll have the area that says merch, and that's got all of my t-shirts right there. Until next time, you guys geek out and create more graphics with our friends over at Uno.